Alright, welcome back to part 2 of this video series done by Firestarter Graphics and Engineering on DIY Cloud Server. So, just to kind of recap, on part 1 we talked about the theory of how this all works. We went through some little bit of information about how TCP works, what an IP address is, and what a port number is, difference between FTP, VPN, and SSH. And FTP over SSH. Now remember, SSH is not the same thing as FTP. SSH is a secure shell. It's an actual tunnel, but you can shove other protocols through it, such as web data, FTP data, email data. You can route a lot of data through this encrypted tunnel. So it's actually really nice. That's another reason why I like the Bitwise client, because you can push web data through that client and connect it to your server at home, so you can have an encrypted tunnel. So you're kind of taking care and charge of your own security. So first and foremost, this is part 2. We're going to talk about installing the software that we need. So if you go to Google or whatever preferred search engine, type in Bitwise server. Usually the first hit is this Bitwise SSH server download. You're going to click it. Okay, you're going to want the installer. Pick the operating system. I think it's only, I don't know if this works on every operating system. I think it's just, I'm doing this for Windows, straight up Windows. If it works for Mac, that's great, but this is straight up for Windows, so FYI. Anyway, so you're going to download that. You're also going to want to download the client. Now let me click here under this. Yes, if you click underneath this download over here, there's a server and the client. You're going to click on the client and you're going to click this and you're going to download it. Now make sure anytime, you always want to keep the server at least updated. There's an option that will tell you, hey, it needs to be updated. Go ahead and click on it and it'll update. So when downloading, let's go back to the server. When you download the server and you install it, it's going to ask, do you want to run a 30-day premium trial? Hit no, and just do the personal edition. And the reason why I say this is because if you can do the premium, but once it's over, you have to uninstall it and then reinstall it using the personal edition. It kind of, I mean, it makes sense of why they're doing that. They're clearing out all the old data, the registry entries, and then just doing a fresh install. It is nice, but it can be inconvenient, you know, because all of a sudden your server just stops working and you have no idea why, and it's like, oh, because I passed my 30-day mark. But the personal edition is free. Okay, so once you've downloaded these two things, I'm only going to talk about the Bitwise client. I'm not going to deal with WinSCP. But you can download that, get the portable version, and you're going to run Bitwise client on a thumb drive or the WinSCP. It's whatever you choose, but I'm just going to do the Bitwise client. So now you have the server and the client. So go ahead and install the server, and when it's done, it's going to open up. It's going to put a little icon, not my OneDrive, sorry. It's going to put a little icon down here, and it's going to look like this. You're going to click it, and it's bringing this up. It's going to say Start Server. Before you do that, you need to go to Open Easy Settings. And I'm going to change the port from door number 22. I'm going to change it to, let's go with 8022. I like that number. Okay. You want to click automatically configure your router, if your router has the UPnP protocol. If not, we're going to have to punch a hole in it anyway. So on Open Windows Firewall, set it to this, and set it to virtual accounts only. You don't want Windows accounts to be able to say, hey, I see an SSH server, I'm just going to use my Windows login information and connect. We don't want to mess with that. We just want to deal with virtual accounts. And notice none are created. So in server settings, this is right here is all done. Virtual accounts, go ahead and add, let's see, what one do I want to do? I'm going to call this Never use this one. This is straight up for private testing. I'm on a private network. Create one that a user account name that's going to be unique, like, I don't know, test for test for the private network. Okay, virtual password not set. For right now, we're just doing a password to just test connectivity. We'll change this later. So do a strong password. Okay. Okay, mine, I don't know how many characters mine are, but and I think they're the same. Yep. And you just hit OK. And it will tell you, like, it's not the same thing, something went wrong. Okay. Public keys, we'll deal with that later. But right now, shell access type, no shell access. Allow file transfer, yes. Allow port forwarding, for right now, no. This is what's going to allow you to push data through. But we want to keep this as secure as we can until we can get it fully secured and then start adding new features. So leave that way. Hit OK. Okay, so now we have our first virtual account. Okay, login allowed, 0 keys, allow file transfer, no shell access. Okay, so this is fine and dandy. So what we're going to do is hit save changes, and we're going to hit start server. Okay, so the server's running, that's it. If you go to activity, it should say activity log is started. Now one thing I want to do right now, if underneath sessions, go to managed blocked IPs. We're going to take care of something right now. Okay, now I live in the US, and this was really important for me to do. I'm going to go to advanced access control settings right here. I'm going to click it, and I'm going to hit add. Okay, now it's going to say address type. I'm going to put any IP address, and then where did it go? Oh no, sorry, any IP from selected location. Okay, location type, country or continent. I'm going to pick continent because there's a lot of countries out there. Continent name. I'm going to pick every continent in here that I'm going to hit uncheck that, and you're going to hit OK. So it's going to block anything from Africa. Okay, so I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to do this for all the ones that are not my home country. That way it blocks any unwanted headaches of people from all over the world, especially Russia and China. That's popular right now for those or someone using a Russian IP address or a Chinese IP address. They could even be my neighbor, but to try to sneak in, it's, I don't know. So we're just going to take care of that problem right here and right now. So let's do it again. Any IP from selected location. Instead of country, go to continent, and I'm going to pick Asia, and we're going to go down here and we're going to hit uncheck. Make sure allow connect is not checked. Hit OK. So now that's blocked. I'm just going to hit OK on those ones, and then hit close. Okay, so that security part is taken care of. We're going to do that right from the beginning. Okay, so now let's try to see if we can connect to it. First and foremost, the one thing that you need to know are two different types of IP addresses. First is your private IP address, and then your public. So your private IP address is when you're connected to your own home network, you have your own little private living space for your computer and your server. But you need to know that private IP address so that you can configure certain things, and you also need to know the public. So let's find both those. So you're going to hit the little Windows key, and if you're on Windows 10, this is easy to do. You hit that and you type in CMD, and then you hit enter. Other computers such as Windows 7 and XP, you're actually going to have to go to Windows and then run, and then type in CMD instead of searching. Then you're going to type in IP config, and it's going to show you on my wireless LAN. Okay, it's going to show you that the default gateway, this is your router that you're connected to, is 10.0.0.1. That is my router's private network address. A router has two network addresses, the private side and the public side. We don't really care about the private side right now, but write that number down. 10.0.01. Okay, that's a lie. Don't write that one down. Write the one that you see. Okay, also write down this IPv4 address. Okay, so 10.0.0.13. I'm probably going to forget that. That's fine. Then, so I'm actually going to minimize that. Next, you're going to want to go to whatismyip.com. And see right here, whatismyip.com. This is not my public IP. This is someone else's. I have no idea, but I'm not going to show my public IP on here. Yeah. Anyway, so go to whatismyip.com and then write down this number. And make sure you put next to it that that's your public IP. Okay? So do some bookkeeping and keep it organized. You're going to need this later on for testing connectivity outside the world or outside your house. Let's call it that. Okay. So what's next? Let's open up. Let's test the private connectivity first, and once we get that going, we're going to configure the firewall for public side connectivity. So open up Bitvise client right here. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so host address, I'm using 127.0.0.1. That is what they call your local loopback. That is the address that's inside your laptop that matches to the... It's always assigned that IP. That, yes, you have a private IP, but that's from your router. The local loopback, this is the address that's assigned to your network card, and you're basically connecting to yourself without going outside the network. So you could actually not be connected to the internet and connect to your own server from your server using the loopback. It doesn't require network connectivity to use this, but that defeats the purpose. So we need to use our private IP first. Okay? So listen port is 8022. Now what you can do is hit new profile and give it a name like SSH server or whatever name you want to do it, and then put in this information and then hit save profile. And then that way when you open up the client, you never have to type this in again. All you have to do is hit log in here at the bottom and you're good to go. So username, I forget what mine was. I want to say it was that. And initial method, we're going to use a password for right now just to check. And then we're going to hit log in. Let's just see if this is successful. Okay, down here it says accepted SSH connection. Perfect. Right here it says new host key. Gives us some interesting information, and we're going to hit accept and save. Okay, now it's asking for a password. Let's put in our strong password. Let's see, hopefully that's it. There it is. Look at that. Changing current remote folder has failed. That's fine. Oh, I know why that failed. Alright. I forgot to show you something. It doesn't know what folder you want to start in. So open up your server. Go to restore. Okay, sessions, we're still there. Activity, this is important to know. You can see how it's connected. Now if you see something here that looks fishy, go to open log viewer and you can double click one of these and actually read. Come on. There we go. And actually read what's actually going on and how authentication works. So, anyway. Okay. Let's go back to server. Is this the client? Oh no, the client's right here. Let's hit log out. Okay. Connection has ended. Okay, go back to open easy settings. Go back to virtual accounts. We need to edit. Okay. I forgot to scroll down. You need to scroll down and say, what's the root directory? That's where we're going to start. So you browse. I'm going to, in documents, I have something called server stuff and then a test folder. I'm just going to create that. So that's where your account is going to save files to. Now, if you're at home, you know, what I do is I select documents as my actual folder to log into, so that when I'm out in the world, like I'm in school, I'm like, oh crap, that lab report for thermo, I left that at home. I've got to turn that in. I'll just log into my SSH server, and it connects me right to my documents, and then I can just download what I need. So, but for this, I'm just going to do one called server stuff test folder. So just remember, when you're at home and you're like, I need to make sure I have access to this, put files that you want to have access to into the test folder. So select folder, tells you right now, you know, and we're good. Okay, save changes. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, remember, you've created a new profile. See, I don't have to type in any information, you know, everything's already set. Hit login. Okay, password. You might be able to hear my laptop fan. It's going crazy right now, so that's what that roaring jet engine sound might be that you hear through the mic. Anyways, okay, look at that. Oh, look at that. Okay, local files. I love how it says that. And then remote files. This is on the server. Nothing's there. This is what I'm locally looking at. Okay, so if I want to switch to somewhere, you click this little button, browse for folder. Go where you need to go. And then you pick some. So, oh, that's a big movie. I don't want to transfer that over. That would take forever. I'm going to try something easy. Okay, what is my IP demo picture? I'm going to move it over. Watch this. Down here somewhere. Are you... Uh-oh, did I kill it? Okay, sorry for that 1 second pause. I finally figured out why it wasn't sending things over. So, in Bitvise, the client, let's go ahead and relog back in. Alright, so what's going to happen is, sometimes this happens, sometimes it doesn't. If you go to transfer something over and it wouldn't transfer over, this little upload queue will flash. You look at it and it will show in here saying something failed. 99% of the time, the reason why it failed is because of permissions. So what you need to do, let's go ahead and close that. Don't hit log out. What we'll do is, on my desktop, this is where I'm saving. This is my test folder. This is where my server is pointing to. You need to right click, go to properties, go to security. If you do not see this one called users, you need to add that. So you can hit edit. You're going to hit add. And you're going to type in the name users. And then you're going to hit OK. And it's going to create one called users. And you're going to, once it's created, you're going to click it. And you're going to click allow, full control. That way you can read, write, create folders, delete folders, and everything like that. And then you're going to hit OK. So now we're still logged in. Oh, whoops. We're still logged in. Just hit new SFTP window. Okay, we're going to go to, so this is the test. This is where my server is technically pointing to. Notice right here it shows a slash saying that's my home drive. I can't go anywhere else besides here. I'm locked down to it. So I'm just going to go to cloud server. I'm going to transfer over this PowerPoint. The PDF. I'm going to drag and drop. And now connectivity works. So at the private side, our connectivity is working. Okay, so we're happy with this. This means that the next few steps are going to be simple and you'll be up in no time. Now remember, install Bitvise client on a thumb drive, like copy it over, like actually install it to a thumb drive. There's a the portable version. I think you can actually just run the program from the thumb drive. So whatever you downloaded for the client, copy it to the thumb drive and just double click it from there and it should run. If it doesn't, just Google how to, in fact, let's just look that up. Bitvise client portable. Right here. And make sure it's from bitvise.com. And it will tell you how to install it on your thumb drive without any issues. Okay, so thank you for watching this one. Let's move on to video part number 3 so that you can connect anywhere in the world. We're going to connect using the wide area network now. That's the other side of your router. So basically, essentially what's going to happen, I don't have a really cool picture. Yes, I can find one real quick. Bear with me. This is going to be what we're going to do in our next video. So how about a cloud network diagram? Let's just look one up real fast. And my internet is going pretty. There's the one we want. Whew. This is what happens when... Okay, let's just look at this one. This is exactly what we're going to do. So, we're sitting right here. Either using a tablet or a phone. Yes, thank you for asking that. I knew someone was going to ask, can you connect to your server with a tablet and a phone? Absolutely. You're going to want a program called FTP. It's an app for, I think, iPhone, and I know Android has it, because that's what I use. FTP. So, what you're going to do is, next video, we're going to set it up for wide area network connectivity. We're going to sit here on our server. We're on our server testing connectivity. We've tested private connectivity, which basically goes down the wire, hits the private side of your router, and then it bounces back. No big deal. What we're going to do now is send a connection outside. This is your little router, private side, public side, and it's going to hit right here, and it's going to go out into the cloud just a little bit, and then it's going to recognize, oh wait, no, it needs to come back in. Actually, it's not going to hit the cloud technically, but it's going to hit the private side of the cloud, and the public side, and it's going to say, hey, that network belongs to me, and then we're going to come back in and go back. So yes, then that will, if you can connect that way, then you can connect from anywhere in the world. So that's what we're going to do next. Anyways, before we finish this is really important. And FTP right here. This is what the icon looks like. You can get it for oh, that's really small. But anyways, the host name, this is where you put in your public IP address. The type, you'll switch to SFTP. The port number, the username. You can even use the keys. And you can set that up in the options that we're going to actually use for our security. We're not going to use a password anymore. We're going to use a key exchange. And you can do this with your phone, and it's really cool. I use it all the time. Okay, perfect. Let's stop gabbing and let's actually do this. So that's what we're going to do in part 3. So anyways, thank you for watching, and I will be pushing part 3 here very soon. Thanks.